In the dead of the night, the silence is shattered by sounds of gunshots, and young lives are lost, and dreams are shattered. But among this chaos, sports offer a glimmer of hope, a refuge where children find purpose and community, and the cycle of violence begins to break. My name is Joshua Pelto, and tonight my persuasive speech is about how sports decrease the crime rate among the youth. In this speech, you will learn reasons as to why children get involved in crimes, how sports can help reduce children from getting involved in those crimes, and Ray Lewis's childhood and Paul Pierce's childhood. And if you don't know, Ray Lewis is a famous football player, Paul Pierce is a famous basketball player. First, what are the leading factors that go into why kids get involved in crimes? There are many different factors and reasons, so I'll just go over a few. First reason is lack of moral guidance and supervision. Most juvenile crime cases have parents who themselves have many issues, which cause them to neglect the child. Nurturing takes place at home, where the child is taught the difference between right and wrong. If the role model is not in the picture, the child will most likely turn to the wrong decisions. Second reason is violence at home. At home is where a child learns what kind of person to grow into. If violence is all they have encountered, they turn into a violent person themselves. In many cases, the child has no idea why they experience violence and how to protect themselves from it, and this may result in petty criminal activities. Last reason is peer pressure, probably the most common. Social circles matter most after a child's home environment. If parents are too controlling, the child might resort to the wrong company or a company to feel better by breaking the rules. Similarly, if parents are absent and the child cannot tell wrong from right, they choose to go with a circle to feel in control and protected. Second, how does sports really help the youth stay out of crimes? It creates development and opportunities. Participation in sports can provide young people a future focus. Quality sports and youth development organizations prioritize potential futures as a core outcome of their programs, and this can lead to higher academic achievement, opportunities for higher education, and even careers. By excelling in sports settings, young individuals can see a future for themselves beyond crime and struggle. Second reason is it reduces idle time. There's an old saying that says, idle hands are the devil's workshop. By keeping young people engaged in sports programs, it reduces the amount of unsupervised time they have, making it less likely that they will engage in criminal activities. Lastly, is that sports provide positive role models. Sports involves mentors and coaches who can serve as a positive role model for partnerships. These role models can offer guidance and support, steering young minds away from negative influences and towards more constructive paths. Now, I'd like to talk about Ray Lewis's story. Ray Lewis had an extremely violent childhood with a stepfather always abusing his mother every day. Sometimes her eyes would bleed so much that she would have to wear sunglasses indoors to try to hide it from Ray Lewis and his siblings. Then after one excruciating altercation between his stepfather and his mother, he decided to take matters into his own hands. He stole a deck of cards from his stepfather's room, and he went to the garage because that's where he lived. He took a card from the deck, and he would do that amount of push-ups or sit-ups that it said on the card until he went through all 52 cards. Then he also joined the football team. The reason Ray Lewis did all this was to finally be strong enough to fight off his stepfather anytime he would try to attack his mother. Now, it could have been so easy for him to go down the wrong path and go in the wrong crowd. But instead, the love he had for his mother, his siblings, and football was far greater. And then he made it to the NFL, took care of his family for generations, and is now known as one of the best linebackers in NFL history. Second athlete I would like to talk about is Paul Pierce. He grew up without a father, and his mother was very poor. He also grew up in Oakland and moved to Inglewood. Both places had something very much in common, and that was being heavily populated with gangs. And it was very easy for kids to get pulled in. However, Pierce observed from Oakland and Inglewood and seeing how great talent on the basketball court just went to waste due to gang violence, and even seen some of his friends die and go be addicted to drugs. Some of his friends even tried to get him to join gangs, trying to peer pressure him into it. They would say things like how the gang loves each other and how they're family. Pierce responded, if they love me, I wouldn't have to be beaten to get in. Due for his intelligence and following his passion in basketball and wanting a better life for him and his mother, instead of following his friends in gangs, he got an offer from the University of Kansas to play basketball. After his career there, he declared himself in the NBA draft, where he got drafted by the Boston Celtics, and he made sure his mom would never be poor again. In conclusion, there are many reasons as to why kids get involved in crimes. However, sports is an easy and fun solution. It can help create memorable moments, friendships, and create huge opportunities. Maybe not just in the sport making millions, but you can go to college and get a great education, become like a doctor, a lawyer, anything like that. Ray Lewis and Paul Pierce's life wasn't easy. However, sports created a pathway for them to make something of themselves. I hope this speech gets you thinking how important sports really can be, especially for the youth, if it can decrease crime rates. Thank you for listening.